Hi, welcome to the channel, Chapeau to the Chef. I'm Chris, and each week I'll be taking you on a culinary tour following the Pro Peloton around the world, recreating classic dishes from the region where the racing's happening. This weekend sees the Pro Peloton return to the UK for the 5th edition of the Tour de Yorkshire. Last year won by Belgium's Greg van Avermaet. This is the second year in a row that it's a 4-stage race. Yorkshire has produced some of the best cyclists in the UK. Beryl Burton, who in the 1960s won 7 track and road world championships, as well as 90 domestic races. Ed Clancy, who's best known for his time on the track, winning 3 Olympic gold medals, 6 gold in the world championships and 5 European golds. Lizzie Digan, the 2015 road race world champion, the 2016 Tour of Britain champion, and has won 4 national championships between 2011 and 2017. The brothers Dean and Russell Downing. Dean used to ride for Rafa Condor, note the Chapeau in today's episode, and Russell, the younger brother, who's the 2005 national champion, rode for Team Sky. Switching to the world of mountain biking, Steve Peat, former downhill world champion, who's also won 3 European downhill championships and 8 UK downhill championships. And from this region, we're going to be creating a lovely gingery treacle cake, Yorkshire Parkin. It's absolutely delicious, really simple to make. You can take it out on the ride with you, or we're going to show you a slight variation that you could have as a dessert when you get home to show off to your friends. Okay guys, first things first. You're going to need 150 grams of unsalted butter, softened. Pop that into the pan. Add to that 150 grams of soft brown sugar. I like mine a little bit darker and a little bit more treacly. So I've mixed half and half with soft brown sugar and soft dark brown sugar. Into the pan. Mix in with that 250 grams of golden syrup, or if you're watching in the States or Canada, substitute that for corn syrup if you can't get golden syrup. Golden syrup, if you're not sure, is made by Lyle's. It comes in a little green and gold jar like that. You can buy it in other brands, but that's the best. Add to that 75 grams of treacle. You can get this in the States, but I think if you can't find black treacle, then molasses is basically the same sort of stuff. It's a bit like the golden syrup, but much thicker, more like tar. Okay, so this is now going to go on the hob on a low heat for 3 or 4 minutes. Just let that butter, syrup and sugar melt together. While that's melting, you need to measure out 125 grams of porridge oats. Sift in 175 grams of self-raising flour, 3 tablespoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of ground allspice. At this point, you want to preheat your oven to 140 degrees Celsius or 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Whilst your oven's preheating, remove your butter and sugar mixture from the hob and mix that in with your dry ingredients. Mix them together really well and then beat in 2 medium-sized eggs. Make sure you do this after you've mixed the dry and wet ingredients, otherwise you'll end up with scrambled egg. Add 25 mils of milk and you should end up with a consistency that looks very much like porridge. Put that into a 20 by 30 centimetre pre-buttered baking dish and put that in the oven for an hour and a quarter. So, an hour and a quarter has gone by. Our Parkin is ready. There we are, look at that. So, let's bring that over. Consistency, a bit like sponge. Looks a bit like a flapjack though. Okay, so that Parkin, absolutely perfect. You're out on the ride. Bit of cling film, back of your jersey there, absolutely spot on. The oats, the sugar, the butter, that'll all give you energy for your ride, give you the calories you'll need to keep going. However, if you've got some friends coming around for dinner later in the evening, you don't want to be serving them a lump of Parkin on a plate. So what we're going to do is going to spruce this up a little bit by adding in some lovely English rhubarb. This came from my local market. It's in the supermarkets at the moment. It's in the season. Absolutely delicious. So what you need to do is take a saucepan, melt 50 grams of butter, add your rhubarb cut into 5cm pieces, the zest of 1 orange, 75 grams of caster sugar, a grating of nutmeg, and 5 tablespoons of water. Poach that on a low to medium heat for 4 to 5 minutes until the rhubarb becomes lovely and tender. Okay, so that rhubarb's just cooking there now. That's going to go with our Parkin. What we now need is a nice sauce just to go with that. So again, bringing in golden syrup. I've got 200 grams of golden syrup there. I'm going to add to that 100 mils of dry cider. Couldn't get any Yorkshire cider, I've got to go with Somerset, obviously. Probably the best. And then into that, I'm going to mix in, already pre-ground it, half a teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon of our mixed spice, and 1/4 teaspoon of our nutmeg. I'm going to bring that to the boil. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down 3 or 4 minutes, that will thicken up and get all those flavours working together. And there we are. Yorkshire Parkin with poached rhubarb and a cider sauce. Follow this simple recipe and your friends and family will soon be saying chapeau to the chef.